Thanks as well to the many community members and groups who spent significant time working to give feedback and shape and improve this plan. This has indeed been a years-long process. Much of the work actually started before many of us were in this chamber. Deep work has been undertaken to consider countless amendments. Given this, I want to say up front at this point that I will not be considering any amendments introduced today, so late in the process. In fact, I believe any attempts to make amendments at this point are more political rather than serious in nature. Today, I will be casting my vote in support of the family zoning plan. I'm doing so because when I ran for office, I vowed to work every day for a San Francisco that is more affordable and more welcoming. And this plan achieves both of those goals. I love San Francisco, and I know we're all in this room because we do too. I believe that to love San Francisco is to want so deeply to share it, to let others have a chance to live here. Whether that means coming here pursuing dreams or seeking sanctuary, or to stay here and grow old here, to give your children or grandchildren a chance to also grow up in this great city. I'm raising my family in a rent-controlled apartment in North Beach. My neighbors, my district, are majority renters. I reject the notion that we have to choose between building more homes and protecting renters. We can do both, and that is exactly what this plan does by packaging the strongest possible tenant and demolition protections with a plan to allow new homes in neighborhoods that have typically excluded apartments and multifamily homes. This very body had a similar question before them in 1978. But for that Board of Supervisors, the question was whether to downzone rather than to upzone. The 1978 downzoning resulted in making apartment buildings illegal in large swaths of San Francisco and decreasing the capacity of new homes by nearly 200,000 units. Not coincidentally, the areas covered by the 1978 downzoning largely match the areas we are considering under today's family zoning plan. The findings from the 1978 downzoning plan predicted exactly what ended up happening. They warned of displacement of certain types of households, that prices and rents may bid upwards, and households, both current and prospective, would be forced to seek housing outside of San Francisco, adversely affecting air quality if automobile usage increases. All of those warnings came true. That 1978 board made its decision, and we've been living with its consequences ever since. This housing crisis isn't a natural phenomenon, it's a policy choice, one that has been exacerbated year after year, eviction after eviction, blocked housing project after blocked housing project. And now, nearly 50 years after the city's 1978 downzoning, I think it's about time we made a different choice. Some have made this plan out to be all about futuristic towers or big changes to our neighborhoods. That's not what this is. In many ways, it simply legalizes what we used to allow in our city. In fact, one study showed that 54% of the homes in San Francisco would be illegal to build today. It's a few 100,000 of our neighbors. My own apartment in North Beach would be illegal to build today because it is too dense. Yes, we literally have a law in the books today that says the 3 families that live in my building are too many, and only 2 should be allowed to live there instead by today's standards. The density decontrol changes in this plan would change that and would simply allow 3 families to live within the same 40-foot height limit once again. As we take this vote, I think about one of the few housing developments built in District 3 in recent years, Broadway Cove, an affordable housing site steps away from the Embarcadero. In 2021, a lottery was held for 93 available units there. 8,431 people applied. It's been almost 5 years since those 8,338 people who applied were rejected. What message do we send them if we turn down this chance now to build more homes for them? A vote against the family zoning plan is a vote for the status quo. and it is a privilege to be okay with the status quo. Landlords and billionaires make their money off the status quo, while families, renters, and working-class communities lose out. And I'm not okay with the status quo today. Our own city economist has shown us data that indicates the family zoning plan will reduce the cost of living for our residents. The average home in San Francisco costs $1.3 million, and the average rent for a two-bedroom is nearly $5,000 per month. What message are we sending our residents, our constituents, if we turn down this plan and literally vote against lowering their cost of living? This plan isn't perfect. Few plans are. But let's be very clear about what a vote against this plan means. It would bring the loss of hundreds of millions of dollars in housing funds. It would block thousands of future affordable homes. And it would set us down a path to a flurry of builders' remedy projects. Think high-rise towers in any part of the city with no local involvement in these decisions. And that's not an exaggeration. That is the reality of what you risk by voting against the family zoning plan. To me, this comes down to a choice. Do we make the same mistake that this board made in 1978 by voting against allowing more homes? Do we choose to pull up the ladder behind us because we already have our slice of San Francisco? I know what my choice is, and that is why I will be voting for this plan today.